Oh, now it's working. Perfect. Okay. It's like sometimes it's working and sometimes it isn't. Perfect. So then, hello guys. Welcome back to another stream. I didn't trade yesterday and today, and the day before, Monday and Tuesday, just because of the CPI week we are in right now. We had CPI at 8:30 in New York time today, and that's why I'm expecting today, tomorrow, and Friday to be the best trading days of the week. And if you look into the lower time frame price action, you will see that Monday and Tuesday were actually pretty crappy days. So I'm very happy I decided to do that. And yeah, so what am I looking at for today? So if you've seen my previous streams, you know that I'm bullish on the weekly. I want to see the all-time highs getting traded too, and that's my general higher time frame idea. Still, nothing new. On the daily, we took out previous week's high yesterday already, and we traded into this SIBI right there. This doesn't mean that we can't continue higher. It's just something I like to mark, and if we retrace here, I understand why this might be the case or why this makes sense. So when then dropping into a 4-hour chart, you could see we took out the previous week's high. That's basically everything we can see right here. So nothing new. And on the 1-hour chart, we can see we closed above previous day high today with the CPI news release. So I'm expecting bullish action on the 1-hour chart. This doesn't mean I can only take longs, because what we will see right here is if I'm placing a GAN box or fib right here at the 16 or at the 4 p.m. closing price, and then at the 9:30 opening price, wherever the market will open, I don't know yet, but that's the opening range gap. And with a gap like that, I am expecting the market to retrace into the 50% or at least the 25%. But most likely it will retrace into the 50%, and that's what I'm looking for. So something like, we have 7 minutes until market opens, so something like a retracement back into this 50% would be interesting. What I personally would like to see, or would love to see, is either SMT on those 30-minute highs with. I can mark that out here, or right there on my SMT time frame, on my SMT chart. If we trade above those 30-minute highs, and we do it on NQ, but on ES or YM we don't trade above it, that's SMT, or vice versa. If we don't trade above it on YM and we trade above it on ES, or if we don't trade above it on NQ and we trade above it on ES or YM, that's also time cycle SMT. So if I'm seeing this, I'm very interested in taking a short, especially when the first presented fair value gap, let's say the first presented fair value gap gets formed at 9:35. There, market trades above here, boom, 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 forms SMT right here, there, trades below it with a SIBI, and that's my entry to go lower. This is a potential idea. We will see how it's playing out, but in general today I'm interested in both sides. Shorts into the 50% of the opening range gap, and longs out of it, but I won't be taking 2 trades. So if I'm taking a 50% retracement trade, let's say I can take a short right there to the 50%, then that's it for me for the day. I won't try to take this long afterwards. But if there is no short setup and I see a long setup, I for sure will take that one. So that's the main thing. I'm looking for SMT on the highs in order to take a short, and 1 minute first presented fair value gap. And if we trade below right here, then I will look at the first presented fair value gap as well. I will look at the reaction from the 50% level and from the 25% level. And in this case, because it's in line with the 1 hour chart, and especially if we trade to the 50%, I'm not expecting the market to trade lower. I'm expecting the market to trade higher, actually, based on the opening range gap. Yeah. And if we can combine it with the 9:30 open, for example, I don't need to see SMT, but if I'm seeing SMT, that's extra confirmation, and I would love to see that. So what have I realized? That my camera didn't work. So now it should be working once again. Maybe it will have another hiccup at some point. That's what happens sometimes. So you know my main idea. That's what I'm gonna do for the day. Yeah. And so far, CPI has been very interesting with this strong move higher. I was actually interested. Okay, my camera doesn't work, so I'm just gonna leave it for now. So what I am currently doing as well is I'm looking into swing trading, and there was a trade I would have been interested in, but the market didn't tap into this fair value gap. It just did it on the dollar index. I will share this at some point if you want to know that. If you want to know how my swing trading strategy works and what I'm doing there, please feel free to leave a comment below, and then I will share a video as well. Same thing with my lower time frame trading strategy. So, but you know the plan. I will outline everything like always. And right now it's 2 minutes until the market opens. That's what I'm gonna wait for. Today should be a good day, like I said. And yeah, SMT on both sides could be very interesting. Since I don't see any liquidity right there, I'm not really expecting a huge move. For example, this AM1 low here. Could it be taken? Of course it could. But because CPI repriced higher that aggressively, and the opening range gap 50% is in between, I'm not expecting the market to trade down into the AM1 low. This would be very, very aggressive and very weird in my opinion, especially because the weekly and daily chart are bullish. This would be a very, very strong reaction. Could it happen? Yes, of course it could. But I'm not expecting it. And in order to expect it, I would want to see. Yeah, that's something else I wanted to share. Because I'm bullish as well, it could also happen that we trade below the gap, for example, that we fill it completely, or that we fill it to, I don't know, more than 50%. And if we then trade above the 50% with a fair value gap, this can be very interesting as well, especially when combining it with the first percentage fair value gap and things like that. You will see me outline this. If it happens, of course, it's always an if-then scenario, and I can't predict every single scenario, or I mean, I'm anticipating them, but I can't tell you every single scenario that could potentially happen. This would just be too much. But yeah, what we can see right now is the market traded into the opening range gap. When would I be interested in taking a trade? Just to look at that. Here we had no SMT on the lows. All three assets took out this low, 30-minute low. So right now it's a waiting game. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. For now, nothing. I will take a look at this SMT chart just to see if we form some kind of SMT on the highs right there. Because if NQ is trading above those highs, this could very likely be some sort of SMT when looking at ES and YM right now. Doesn't mean it has to. We can clearly see that it's trading lower right now. I will just, that's the daily city low, right? Yeah, I'm still gonna leave this line here on my chart. Why not? At the previous week's high, this has already been taken, but I'm leaving it as well. So this is looking interesting. Here you could see we formed relatively equal highs, but the second high took out the first one. If we look at YM, for example, we have lower highs. On ES, we took out the highs as well. So nothing there, but this would be very interesting. This first percentage fair value gap, I wouldn't take a short from there, and it's still 30 seconds until it forms. So nothing set in stone yet. But that's very interesting. The market traded into the 50% of the opening range gap. We didn't form SMT, but if we trade above this first percentage fair value gap, and we trade especially above the 9:30 open once again, that would be an extra confirmation. This could be very interesting. So, first percentage fair value gap formed. I'm drawing it out until 10:30, my regular time, my regular trading session time. And now it's just waiting, letting it do its thing. If we take out the AM1 low, this would be interesting. But then I would still want to see it. Let's say we take out this AM1 low. I wouldn't get in on this market structure shift right here. I would want to see the market trade above the 50% and potentially even the first percentage fair value gap, but at least above the 50%, retrace into that. and then a continuation higher. This would be valid in terms of a move. Or if we start to trade right here above this first percentage fair value gap without taking some form of liquidity, that's not the perfect setup, but because the 1 hour chart is bullish and because the opening range gap is in line with that as well, because we already traded into the 50% of it, I would be willing to take a long right here. Especially if we trade above the 930 opening price. So those are two scenarios, two potential ones. Right now it's just time to wait. We didn't form any sort of SMT. And now, because it already traded into the 50%, I am not interested in shorts for the rest of the session. If the market just dumps and we don't see a retracement, and so be it, then I'm not taking anything. But for now, it's not that clear. Work that well once again, but you should be hearing me. Um, I hope you are enjoying the stream. If you are, and leave a like below, and I don't know where I can have the chat. This would be very interesting. Let me take a look. price action, what we can see right now is that we formed this trend line. All of those highs are liquidity. All of those highs here. Right now, people that are short are thinking that they're safe. And if you know what ICT concepts are all about, you know how it's working. You know how the markets are working. And those people are actually not safe at all. What we could see right here is SMT with YM, but just on the 10-minute cycles. So that's nothing I'm hugely interested in on itself, but we now filled this opening range gap completely, and if we shift structure and trade above the 50%, which could definitely happen in the 950 macro, I'm expecting something like this up into the 2 high. This would be my draw. And this would be the only trade I would take today. If I'm not seeing this kind of setup, I'm out. And I'm just skipping the day. But I would need to see displacement. Firstly, I would need to see a structure shift, or at least a move above the first percentage fair value gap. In this case, I would be willing to take a trade higher without needing any kind of liquidity grab or SMT. I want to see the 50% and the first percentage fair value gap be in line with my idea and with my setup. If they are not, then I'm not gonna take it. But as you can see, it looks very interesting right here. And yeah, we will see if I will get a setup. In general, when looking at where I would like to enter, you can see the 50%, the equilibrium is right here above the first percentage fair value gap and above the 50% of the opening range gap. So if we displace above here and we form a new busy, then I can definitely enter on that busy, for example, somewhere right here with the stop here, and to take profit right there. This could be a potential trade. And yeah, that's my thought process. I do like this fast reversal right here. We didn't take anything out in terms of liquidity on any of those assets. We took out the low from CPI on NQ. Ah, okay, yeah, that's SMT actually. I missed that, but it's SMT. Because we didn't take out the low from 8:30 to 9 a.m. on YM, and I can use the last 2 time cycles. And we took out that low on NQ as well as on ES. So if we saw a regular market structure shift without the first percentage fair value gap, I would still be interested in taking along, but this is an extra confirmation now. So as you can see, we displaced through the 50% of this opening range gap. So if we close above the first percentage fair value gap right now, this is gonna be my entry. And I'm gonna think about taking that. if we close above. If we don't close above it, I'm not taking it for now. I need to wait for another time. And if we close above it, I'm in this long. We didn't close above it yet, so I need to wait. I need to give it some time. Not my trade yet. We need to close above that, and then I would be interested in taking a long from this busy right here. 1 minute busy. The reaction to it will be very interesting right now because it's the busy that traded above the 50% of the opening range gap, as well as this busy. Same thing. The reaction to this will be very, very telling going forward. And if we create a new busy right now, going higher, that's a fair value gap I would enter as well. Mostly because of this high right there. That's still inside of this first percentage fair value gap. And if we break above it, that's a clean shift. So what could happen right now? The market doesn't need to push up from those two busies. It could also trade a little lower into this one or into that one. I still wouldn't be fully confident in taking this trade right here because I want to see a clear confirmation. And this is a V shape. That's already some kind of confirmation, but for me personally it's not enough. But what I can see right now is that this is looking very nice. The reaction to this 1 minute busy traded above and closed above the 50% of the opening range gap was actually amazing. So we saw S&T, we had this trade higher, but we didn't see a shift. And the shift in market structure happens, for me personally, when we trade above the first percentage fair value gap, or when we take out and close above a high that formed inside of a SIBI previously. And because this is the first percentage fair value gap in this case, it makes the most sense to use that. So right now, market looks very nice. The wicks, look at this reaction, wicking into this 1 minute busy once again, and then closing above it. And here's same thing. The wicks were going below, but the bodies stayed inside of it. And if we trade below here right now, actually, if the market rejects from this first percentage fair value gap and trades below this 50% as well as this busy and creates a new SIBI, this would be a market structure shift. Once again. And yeah, but it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. This would be something that would be counter trend. Let's say we traded below here, formed a shift, and formed a SIBI in here. Then it would be interesting to take some kind of short down into this, because then I would be expecting that more liquidity has to be grabbed before a move higher could occur. So if I want to see this, for example, this would make sense, because from now I would want to see the market show some kind of strength. And you can see how the market is currently really chopping around right here, trading inside of this 1 minute fair value gap. But it doesn't look, compared to this move right here, which was very strong, those reactions right now don't look strong at all. And if we don't, or if I don't see a sign that the market wants to expand higher right here, trading above those highs and this high, if I don't see this, like here, I don't see this, we're most likely seeing that. It sounds weird, but I understand the plan, so that's what's important. Yeah. And so far, it's looking like it could go both ways. I like this candle formation right here. Do we have... No, we didn't have news at 10, right? No. No 10 a.m. news. If we had 10 a.m. news today, this could be a perfect expansion higher during the news. But we don't, so... But even if you look at that, what I can see right here, those highs, they look pretty clean. Those highs still look too clean. And this right here, I'm not using that, but it's a Head and Shoulders, just using more than the usual Head and Shoulders pattern. It looks very bullish in my opinion. So that's what I want to see. I want to see a bullish move. I want to see a close above this high. That's the market start to shift. That's what I want to see. And I do like this busy if it's getting formed. I really do. Would I take that if we just close above this high? That's a question right now. So that's a potential opportunity. I will wait on the close candle. And right now you can see that we don't look like we're gonna close above it. We're even filling this fair value gap back in. So firstly, I will incorporate the volume imbalance. And secondly, this trade is no longer valid. I would still like to see a move higher, potentially with a new busy created. This right now is very choppy action. We could see how the market reversed right here, but now it's very weak. It is. It doesn't look strong, even though it should look strong in my opinion. And if I don't see a clear sign of it being strong, I'm not interested that much. So right here, the reaction to this busy, the two reactions, were already a sign of strength. So that's good. Right now, the reaction to this busy will also show me how strong or weak the market is. Like I said previously, if it can't push higher, then it might drop lower. and this would be the level I would look for. I would be looking for. With trading below the 50%. Something like this, or it could go down, trade below this, retrace, and trade lower. This could happen as well. Both of those scenarios are valid. I would prefer the bullish one, but I could also see the bearish one. Just because if we see SMT, if we see the market trade above the 50%, if we see the market react to this busy, and it still can't get above the first percentage fair value gap. If it really can't trade above that, what does this mean? This means it's weak, it's not strong. And I'm really not expecting consolidation for the whole rest of the day, so if it's not strong, it should be weak. And that's the main idea. We will look and see. We will wait and see. Whatever happens, happens. I'm just always building some kind of plan. That's important in my opinion. And if we can push above this level, this is a sign of strength, especially if we can push above it with busy, with a new bullish fair value graph. If we can't create a busy, I'm not interested. If we can, I am. And same thing right here, if we drop below it but we can't create a SIBI, I'm not interested. That's all of that needs to be very clear. But I like the reaction to this busy once again. I do like this candle right here. Even if I'm not trading using those, but I do like it. Same thing right here. I do like it. phone. I hope you did, because I outlined everything. If you didn't, I don't love the price action right here, because the market isn't really expanding higher. I would love to see a pretty fast run higher right now. When I'm in a trade, it's always nice if the market just runs. This action is pretty hard to hold through, and it's the 9:30 open as well. So, but if we can displace above here, we can for sure trade into this high and this city. Very, I'm very confident that the market will trade into this 1 minute city, and then it will maybe take out the AM2 high, which is my main target. But when the price action stays like that, I will either trail when we hit those highs right there, or I will take off something and leave the rest to see if we can take out AM2 high. Can we now close above this high and form this busy? If we can, that's a pretty nice sign. And if we can displace above it and just leave this fair value gap unfilled, this would be even better, of course. For me right now, in my position, it would be even better. But it's just waiting. That's trading. It's 90% waiting, 10% executing when it really matters. That's when we execute. And yeah, I do really like it because it takes a lot of it takes a very, very good mindset to be able to trade profitably and to be able to deal with markets like those, for example. Um, and yeah, I am really into that. That's why you see, for example, I'm very calm still when I'm in a trade. I'm absolutely calm, or I'm trying to be. And that's my focus, because if I can be calm and peaceful when I'm in a trade, what else could hurt me? I mean, losing money is pretty rough. So, yeah. Right now, just slow grinding higher. I actually think it will take some time. Maybe the 1050 to 1110 macro will deliver price higher. Could happen, doesn't need to. It looks like a very, very nice market maker buy model, so I like this low risk buy right here. This was the second stage accumulation. So low risk buy, first stage accumulation, second stage accumulation, and now it should run higher. I would love that. Yeah, but we will see. We will see. So it's like I said, it's just waiting right now. So what I'm gonna do, just share this down because I don't want to experience something like this move higher, then a retracement into here, and then a move higher, and another retracement, and a move higher, and another retracement. I'm not interested in that. And right now, even if I would get out at that low, it would be 1.7 R. This would be fine. If I get out at this low, it would be 1.9, for example. And right now we hit the first level right here. I was interested in this high. Now I don't want to see the market trade below this low right here. So I'm gonna trail it aggressively. 22.3355. That's the aggressive trailing approach. And I'm out. Okay, perfect. I'm out. That's fine. I got my trade. Um, I wanted to trail this aggressively. That's what I did. That's what I did. Right now, could it go higher? Of course it could. But yeah, that's where I got out. That's my trade for the day. Maybe it can run higher. Of course it could. In this case right now we took out this high. Should I have waited for this candle and then left the stop there? This would have probably been the better decision. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I'm happy to take my profits. Yeah, my risk was $180, I think. And I made, what did I make? So, what did I make today? 310. Sounds perfect, right? 310. Risking 180 or a little more. I didn't get in right here, I got in somewhere here. I can now show you the executions right here. Those were the executions. I got in at 2204. Stop loss was right here. Take profit. Yeah, 1.73 R. Could it run higher? Yes, it could. My initial idea is to aim too high. But like I said, I'm not willing to risk all of that profit I made, and I'm not happy to hold this trade today, especially because of this very choppy action. And if it ran higher more quickly, I would have been fine, but in this case, not that interested. So perfect, trade done for today. And yeah, you will hear from me tomorrow and we will see each other. So until tomorrow, stay safe and have a great day.